The terrible Suicide Squad game failed. I mean, I don't know what, again, I don't know what else people expected from a live service, always online game, but here we go, guys. Oh my god.
Oh, you know, boys, call me Nostradamus. Not really. Just call me Mutahar. You know, you could be blind, you could be deaf, you could be in a coma. You know, you could be in a coma for 9 years. You know, Metal Gear Solid 5 style. You wake up and somebody tells you, the nurse comes in and it's like, hold on. Do you know that Suicide Squad, the game, died? Dude, you could not have any context.
I mean, a lot of us saw it coming from a mile away. I mean, the way the game played, you know, the bugs, the constant disconnections. Oh, yeah, it was just a recipe for disaster, honestly. I didn't play it. I saw some streams of people playing it. I saw those errors, those disconnections, and I kind of formulated my own opinion about the game through those. And yeah, this game was big yikes.
And still come to the same conclusion that me and plenty of people made. Now, look,
Yep.
I'm actually glad it died, okay? I made a video about 2 weeks ago where I said Suicide Squad is bad and should fail, okay? I think as gamers, we should vote with our wallet, okay? All right, you get...
Oh, yep, that's the message right there. Error, unable to reach server, please attempt to sign in again. Oh my god, dude, like, dude. Obligatory sip of coffee. Excuse me. I mean, dude. Why you gotta make it online only? Or always online, I should say. Cause, yeah, you know that there's gonna be server issues. Dude, just have it have client-side support. So that way, you know, if the game servers actually die, you'll always have a way of accessing the game. Because, dude, inevitably, this game will legitimately actually die at some point. And after that, you're not going to be able to play it, because it's always online. Yeah, this was not good.
Get your wallet. You take out your card only for the good games.
Also, yeah, I agree with people should vote with their wallets, because if they did, we wouldn't see games like this being released. Yeah, big shocker, I know.
And you don't swipe the card when you get a bad game, okay? It's how life should be. Now, for anybody that's not following, Suicide Squad is a sorry, hold on.
Live service
game.
Yep.
Oof, hurts to say.
I will say that not all live service games are bad. I'll hop on that train. Cause, you know, there are a ton of free live service games that are actually half decent, if not actually good. I'm probably gonna get a lot of blowback when I say this, but I actually think Fortnite is a really good game. Even like with everything that's changed about it, I still think it's a very solid game. Like literally, you could play Fortnite and you could actually get like a decent sort of gaming experience with that. You know, Save the World, the single player is kind of like underwhelming. I almost said underrated. But it's kind of underwhelming, but you know, it is what it is, I guess. You still get a complete package in some regard. So,
a game made by Rocksteady, the geniuses behind, you know, the Arkham quadrology. I'm not going to leave Arkham Origins out of it. That game's like the black sheep for some reason.
Oh no, that was Dambusters that made Homefront Revolution. I don't know how I get those two studios confused all the time. Yeah, that's just something I wanted to bring up.
Actually Was it Rocksteady that made that? No, I think it was a different division. Point is, these are the people behind some of the best single-player games of all time. Now, obviously, Suicide Squad is a live service 4-player looter shooter that I played a little bit. Like, I made a video about this. I tried playing it. Obviously, I wasn't able to play it because when you tie your shit-tier game to an internet connection and your servers are run by a disabled hamster...
Yeah, you're just gonna be destined for failure at that point. If you're gonna make an always online game, at least have the decency to like have actually stable servers. I mean, dude, as bad as Star Wars Battlefront 2, like EA's Star Wars Battlefront 2 was, the servers are just like, when it released, the servers were just horrendous. It was Star Wars Battlefront 2 EA's wasn't an always online game, but a big chunk of it was online, so, and it had god awful servers, so I mean, I wasn't able to play it for like 90% of the time back then. I mean, the servers got better as, you know, the game got better, but if you're gonna make an online game, or always online game, always have good servers. Like, that's something that a lot of devs, you know, skimp out on, and this game is just the most recent example of that.
Okay, and I can't progress after a certain point or the servers keep crashing. Yeah, my review isn't going to be so fucking glaring. But obviously I tried playing this game. I tried giving it a fair shake. Wasn't that great of a title. And I think most of the gaming public kind of agreed that the game wasn't that great of a title either. Well, you want to know where we're at now, ladies and gentlemen?
Where?
We are looking at a big AAA live service game with 801 players on.
Oh, Lord. Hang on. I actually got another, like, I was doing this when I made my thumbnail. Give me a second. Screenshots. When I was making my thumbnail for this video, there were 602 players. I know where I got the 40 number from, but 602 players when I was making my thumbnail for this video. So, oh my lord, yeah, that's not great. They just went down like 200 players. Yeah, that's pretty rough, G.
Steam right now, as of literally me recording this video. Now, its all-time peak was 13,459. Not great by any metric, right?
Yeah, not great.
Like Pal World or Helldivers 2, and I'll get to those two in a minute.
Yeah,
to those,
you couldn't hold a candle to those numbers. I mean, dude, when Pal World launched, it was massive. It was a massive title. Helldivers 2, probably a little bit less massive, but still massive. Baldur's Gate 3, massive numbers. This game just couldn't compete, honestly. Let's just keep it a buck.
Post releases, yeah, this game clearly died. Now, obviously, this is just Steam charts, so before, you know, some of the fans for this game jump into the comments and do the whole Cope Olympics, let me remind you, even Warner Brothers ended up saying this fell short of their expectations.
I wouldn't have assumed as much. Fell short of dude. What were your expectations? I need to know personally. Like, how did you think that this game would do? Because if you thought it would be like a 5-star release, you might need to get your head checked, because something ain't ticking right.
Alright? Now, maybe if your expectations were rock bottom, maybe this might have been a good year. But for a company that made another great single-player game like Hogwarts Legacy, you know, pretty much did...
Yeah, how do you, like... Bro, as controversial as Hogwarts Legacy was, from what I saw, that was a very solid game. Like, it had little to no bugs, I'm pretty sure. It had a lot to do, Like, how do you have those polar opposites? Unless, because Hogwarts Legacy released last year, how do you just make such a dramatic shift? We released a great game like that, and then you stumble back, well, you stumble forward, and you fumble with this game. Like, I don't get it, dude. I'm sorry, I can't understand for the life of me how they screwed up this bad.
Did actually nail it down? Yeah, clearly this game not selling was bad. Now, obviously, Suicide Squad and the whole DC universe, I don't have to deny anybody, but like, it is a pretty substantial IP to have a hold of. So yeah, it clearly had some power.
It is literally the rival to Marvel. So if you need to, especially in the gaming space, you need to try to have titles that will compete with, you know. Because, dude, oh god. I mean, you're obviously not gonna have like Sony's Spider-Man levels of success. You should at least try to strive for something similar to that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy to think about.
And with a name like Rocksteady, I, like many others, were genuinely excited. I mean, I was pretty much hoping that they were going to carry the same success and the same genius innovation they had since the Arkham days, okay? Playing the entire Arkham trilogy after seeing the fall of this has shown me how far this company has kind of dropped. Now, obviously, Rocksteady, it's not looking good for them, clearly, when Warner Brothers is coming out saying stuff like this. And remember, when they say this, it means it was bad across the board. You know, the PC isn't some special market. Generally, the console side of things probably has...
Yeah, I think, console is definitely the bigger market, because it's the more affordable option compared to, you know, playing games on PC. If you want to get a gaming PC, like a good, solid one, you're probably gonna have to blow like at minimum $800. For a console, you could get a PS5 or an Xbox Series X for like $500. That's a $300 difference. So yeah, obviously consoles are going to be more accessible, and therefore they're going to be, you know, the bigger market. Just something to think about, I guess.
Has a few more players just because of the size of them, the actual install base. But this didn't do good on the PlayStation, didn't do good on the Xbox,
nope.
Didn't do good on the PC, didn't do good on butt plugs, didn't do good anywhere.
Didn't do good on the Samsung fridge. Sorry, that's an old meme. Yeah. I'm gonna move on.
Terrible, no matter what platform it dropped on. And obviously there's nobody else to blame on this but the top brass at Rocksteady and the Warner Brothers team. I don't want to walk into this like I'm shitting on developers here, because ultimately a developer doesn't really have a choice in what the game, or at least the back end, is really supposed to be. So usually for a big company like Warner Brothers, a lot of those decisions, like the people who decided, yeah, maybe we should make this game a live service video game, that might be a good idea. That was decided by like people at the top brass of Warner Brothers and the big directors over at Rocksteady together, not the average rank and file developer. So I'm not putting my blame into them whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, I literally don't blame the people on the floor. It's the upper management that's really the big problem, which you know is very common. I mean, I don't really cast blame. I don't cast blame on, you know, the people working like the floors of Blizzard, because it wasn't the devs' fault that you know, Overwatch 2 isn't shipping with the original PvE experience. It's the upper management. I don't think it wasn't, you know, the devs' fault for how Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, like the most recent one, dropped. Like, it wasn't their fault, like, how short the campaign was, because they wanted to make something that, you know, connected to the Modern Warfare story, not a direct sequel. So I don't really blame them for that. I blame upper management. Like, it's just, it's just people that really aren't passionate about games directing these people that are, and that's where you get like a lot of the big problems. Yeah, it's sad, dude.
Obviously, for Rocksteady, it's probably going to be layoff season sometime soon, as sad as it is to say. And I worry for a lot of those developers that got kind of dragged into this monster and made this game knowing full well that it wasn't going to be received properly. Now, obviously, the backlash towards Suicide Squad is something plenty of people in the video gaming space have made videos about. Look, if you're going to make a live service game, and look, some of them are actually pretty good. Helldivers 2, for my only complaint being that the servers are kind of in a shitty spot, that game is still, when it functions, a good example of live service basically done right.
Yeah. Like, dude, they knew what they were doing. They had like a steady understanding of, like, because they didn't, like, from my knowledge, they didn't really have to meet a lot of the executives' demands. They just went and they made a good bloody game. I mean, like, it's not that difficult to do, guys. It's genuinely not. Bruh.
And one of the things that I'm glad about seeing over here, and by the way, live service means that your game has an active player base. Suicide Squad 800 people on Steam isn't going to be carrying this anytime soon. I'm still shocked that there's actually 80% positive reviews on this game, knowing full well the only people...
Wait, there is? I'm not gonna check it right now, but I think that might have changed. I don't know.
Defending it are legitimately coping. And the fact that this game launched without any form of content I would consider worth the actual price tag asked for it. The thing about these live service games is when you release them, you kind of release them with the expectation that the content is gonna come. We're gonna feed it in. Now look, live service gaming, when done right, is a moneymaker. You got games like Fortnite, you've got games like Roblox that might as well be their own industries, carrying like what, GDPs of some smaller countries? You've got game franchises like Grand Theft Auto. For the last 10 years, Grand Theft Auto, and I'm not even joking when I say this, I'm pretty fucking sure that GTA 5 made more money, one game in the franchise, through its online component, and of course the actual raw sales of its single player component, more sales than the entire previous games in the franchise.
Yeah, outside of the definitive edition of like the 3 GTA games that had like, okay, so there was Vice City, there was GTA 3, and there was San Andreas that were part of the definitive edition. That had like a pretty bad release. But outside of that, I don't think there's been a single GTA game that's had a bad release. From my understanding, I don't think there's been like a single one that's had like a bad sort of track record. Again, I could be completely wrong about that, but you know.
All the way from Grand Theft Auto on the original PlayStation 1 back when they were DMA design, all the way up to GTA 4 when they were Rockstar Games. I'm sure I can confidently say that GTA 5 made more money. And that is the definition of a live service game. It's still a game where the online component still gets content to this very day. Now, when you're making a live service experience like Suicide Squad, the expectation is you make a good game, the game is played by millions of people worldwide, hundreds of thousands of players at any given moment, and the content comes out every few months. So every few months, you get a season, and then another season, and then another season. Another live...
Yeah, if only Halo Infinite did that, and did it well. Yeah, that's rough.
Service game that I feel was done absolutely impeccably was a game called Rainbow Six Siege, when I used to play it. I would play this game literally every single day.
I tried to get into Siege. I tried to. I just couldn't. There was a lot of things I didn't understand, like, because I watched people play Siege, like, all the time. Like, I watched countless Siege videos on YouTube, like back in like 2019, 2020. I tried getting into it. I just couldn't. Like, I genuinely, it just didn't seem interesting to me. It's a game that I like watching, but it's a game that I just can't get into.
And obviously, after the course of months, you know, Ubisoft would release another season and then another season. New operators, new maps, new everything. There was something like Suicide Squad. Look, at the end of the day, those two games, Siege and GTA Online, no matter what you consider, are good, well-produced games. They're addictive games at their core. People enjoy them. And when you look at something like Suicide Squad, it was a game that released bare bones. It was a game that didn't even have to be a live service game to start with. It could have been a single-player experience, start to finish, would have been reviewed absolutely well had they made a great game.
Yeah, nobody wants to take the risk of, like, releasing a, like, AAA developers don't take the risk of, like, making a good single-player game. I think the biggest example was, like, EA a few years ago when they said, like, they weren't going to release a single-player experience. And, you know, like, the black sheep of that was Jedi Fallen Order, which, you know, was an amazing game from what I understand. I really need to play that game again, but yeah, from what I heard, that was a really good game, Jedi Fallen Order. And like apparently now they're walking back that, because they're releasing a handful of like single player based games. So yeah, I guess they went back on their word, and yeah, a lot of like these AAA devs, like dev studios, they just need to like take that risk and make single player games. Cause believe it or not, that used to be like the bulk of the gaming industry, like single player oriented games. Back then, if you wanted to play multiplayer, you had to get like on PS2, you had to get like a bunch of different accessories for your PS2. You had to like get like a network link or whatever it was called. Yeah, you had to do all these. You had to jump through all these sort of hoops to play online, and that's why a lot of people just stuck with playing single player, because, you know, it wasn't widely accessible back then.
And it would have absolutely been another notch on Rocksteady's belt. Instead, they decided to focus a game on producing it, making it a game that people would jump in, grind their dailies, and whatnot. We're long past the days of Shenmue with the forklift job, okay? Nowadays, motherfuckers are
this actually looks pretty sick, not gonna lie. Forklift racing, dude. That looks pretty freaking amazing.
For choice on every video game. We don't have to sit down and basically come home from work to log in to do another job, especially when that job, known as Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, wasn't actually even that fun. At the core of this game really seemed like a single-player game. Unfortunately, somebody at UB or WB came by and said, "Whoa, you guys working on that new DC game? Hold on, I got a great idea. We got the brand power. Let's make it a live service." And that
big mistake. Big freaking mistake. Oh god, I mean, would this have been a good single-player game? Probably not, but at the same time, you know, it would have benefited just by being a single-player game. Or if you were gonna have co-op, just have it be couch co-op, and like, you know, or, you know, like just have friends on PlayStation Network, Xbox Live, Steam hop in with you, like, you know, 4-player co-op. You could do that and like not have to, you know, have it revolve around powerful servers. I mean, come on, guys, like for all the flack you got for not having split screen co-op, Halo Infinite, anybody? Like any of the other Halo games where you could play, you know, on Xbox Live with 4 of your friends, like, come on, guys. It's possible to do this.
That's how the whole roller coaster began, and that's why we're here not celebrating a good release. Now, ultimately, I think it's actually great this game failed from the industry standpoint because, look, as gamers, as people, we are putting in a lot of money per release, okay? A lot of these releases have jumped up to like $70 US per release. And that means that for people who, are on stricter budgets, they can probably choose to get a game, maybe a few games a year at best. So your options on picking which game you want to buy really has become like a luck of the draw.
Yeah. Literally, it's because, you could blow like $70 on a game and like it could be a coin toss of like whether it was solid or whether it was wheat or whether it was chaff. And a lot of these releases end up being chaff, so you get a few pieces of wheat, but it's not a lot to outweigh all the chaff.
So when you go out to buy a game that are costing $70 a price, you really have to pick which games you want, which games give you the better value. Not everyone is going to be dumping $70. And again, like I said in my previous video, this is a game that's meant to be played cooperatively. Convincing all of your friends to buy a $70 game just to play together without any form of split screens or, from my understanding, free trials is pretty fucking risky.
I said this yesterday when we reacted to the State of Gaming. Some studios should like really refrain from having a full price game, like having like a $70 title. Especially Warner Brothers after this, like, Jesus Christ, come on now. Like, you had to have seen that this wouldn't go over well. But I guess they didn't, because 602 active players, I guess.
And we're sitting in a day and age where games like Helldivers 2, games like Palworld are launching without those $70 price points, meaning that you can buy the game, and if your buddy still can't afford the game, you can also sometimes double up and buy them a copy of the game too.
Yep.
So again, for games that are almost half the price of these big releases, games like Palworld and Helldivers, they're launching with massive success. The price to enter is also minimal compared to these $70 games. And it seems like for a lower budget that these games are being developed for, the actual innovations they have are far more impressive than what these big AAA, or sorry, in Ubisoft's case, quadruple A gaming experiences are offering.
Yeah, this is why I said yesterday that the future of gaming really lies with like these smaller studios that are actually passionate about the games that they release. It's got to be the Palworlds and the Helldivers and the Baldur's Gates and a lot of these other games that end up being, the industry standard going forward. Because, nobody wants to buy a $70 bugfest of a game that only works half of the time. They want a game that, you pay, I don't know, like $30, and it's an actually good experience. Like left, right, and center. Hang on. Oh, greetings. I don't know how do you say your name? Arendrell, what's up? How are you doing? We're just reacting to this. Oh, Aaron's fine. All right, good to know. But yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, it's gonna be these smaller studios that end up being, the big powerhouses in the future. I could be wrong about that, but, wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah, Suicide Squad failed, but honestly, it should have. Because had games like this honestly succeeded, I would be worried for what other big games could eventually go down the same route and ruin gaming going in forward. You know, it's crazy that next week Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is dropping a purely single-player experience, and it's got more fanfare and excitement than this live service experience that's built off of an admittedly very popular IP has ultimately gotten. Yeah, I could have seen this coming, ladies and gentlemen, but to be fair, anybody could have seen this coming. Your unborn children could have seen this dog shit coming.
Yeah, I could have seen it coming. Like, literally. Not even a big fan of, like, DC games, or, like, even Marvel games to some extent. And I could have seen that this was a bad move to, It's weird watching YouTube videos in normal speed. My brain is so used to 2x speed. I mean, like, I've always watched videos on, like, normal speed. It's just the way I operate, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, let's finish this up.
That said, ladies and gentlemen, this is me, Mutahar, and if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it. I am out.
Yeah, I mean... Oh, yeah. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that, you know, a game like this would have had a bad launch? Like, it's crazy to think about. It's genuinely crazy. I'm gonna link the video. But yeah, it's just... I know that there are some people that, like, wanted this game to be good, but, you know, it ended up being bug-filled, bare bones, and just... I just can't really say anything else but ugh.